Mr. President.
Senator from Illinois.
Mr. President, I'm going to ask unanimous consent on a resolution concerning one aspect of this conflict in Ukraine that is particularly compelling from my point of view. It's a little different than Senator from Vermont, but I think it's very important that it be raised and part of our consideration. War brings out the worst in humans, there's no doubt about it. And Russia, under the bloody leadership of Vladimir Putin, has been guilty of some of the worst wartime atrocities that a mind can imagine. Murders, mass murders, rapes, torture, deliberate targeting of hospitals and civilians. That's been the 3-year strategy of Vladimir Putin to bring Ukraine to its knees. But one of the most horrific atrocities is Russia's kidnapping of Ukrainian children. I cannot even imagine the reality of this. Since Russia's full-scale war of aggression started in 2022, the government of Russia has abducted, forcibly transferred, facilitated the illegal deportation of at least 20,000 Ukrainian children. 20,000 children forcibly taken from their homes, families, and communities to a place they've never known. The depravity of this Putin strategy is hard to imagine, but Putin and his government know no humanity nor morality. It is not surprising that Putin would stoop to such a repulsive strategy. That is why today I'm asking unanimous consent to pass a resolution condemning Russia's abduction of Ukrainian children. I'm calling on Russia to work with the international community to return all of these children to their families. There is no tactful way to violate the sovereignty of a nation. But Putin takes depravity to a new extreme with his kidnapping of Ukrainian children. This barbaric act must be condemned. It should be easy for members of both sides of the aisle to just imagine for a moment if this had happened to American children. And it should be clear to everyone that President Trump cannot side with this grotesque child kidnapping. I'm sure he does not. But it has to be a priority of any peace process to acknowledge Putin's responsibility for the invasion and the terrible policies in Ukraine. And so I ask unanimous consent the Senate proceed to the consideration of SRES 110 submitted earlier today. Further, the resolution be agreed to, the preamble be agreed to, the motions to reconsider be considered, made, and laid upon the table with no intervening action or debate.
Is there an objection?
Mr. President.
Senator from Idaho.
Reserving the right to object. Mr. President, to my good friend from Illinois, I say I'm going to object to this, and it's not because of the substance of the resolution. You correctly stated what the resolution states, but again, I think you, along with myself and every member of this body, wants to see the fighting stopped in Ukraine. That's a necessity. It has to happen. The things that are happening are going on right now. There are discussions going on right now. And as I said to my good friend, Senator Sanders, you may think you know what's going on in this because you watched what happened this weekend. I can tell you, with absolute certainty, you do not know the discussions and what's happening as the train moves forward to try to resolve this. This isn't a resolution that's going to happen with a whole bunch of people getting involved and trying to lay out different things that they want to get to resolution. It is going to be complicated. It's going to be complex. And again, I come back to the fact that there is one person who's in the center of this that can make this happen, and that's Donald J. Trump. Us passing resolutions here are not helpful to the efforts that are trying to be done to resolve this. And so as a result of that, I'm going to object to it. And as a result of that, I do object. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President.
Objection is heard. Senator from Illinois.
I'd just like to say briefly, I respect my friend from Idaho. We have a difference of opinion on this. I cannot imagine any resolution of this conflict in Ukraine that does not take into consideration these 20,000 kids who've been kidnapped by the Russians. They're going through this terrible indoctrination where they're being punished if they won't sing the Russian national anthem, and where they're demanding that they learn a new language and develop a new loyalty to Russia. This is outrageous. The international courts have branded Vladimir Putin as a war criminal, and this is one of the reasons. I cannot imagine there will be any resolution of this peaceably without bringing these children back home to their families. And for us to be on the record saying that does not seem to me to be intrusive or a radical point of view. It just reflects the reality of where America should be.
Senator from Idaho.
I agree with my good friend from Illinois that this, amongst many, many facts that are going to be taken into consideration as the parties negotiate in what's going to be a very complex negotiation to get to the end point. There's going to be a lot of things that do need to be considered. The difficulty is when this institution, the United States Senate, puts something out like this, it does have an effect on the parties that are sitting at the table, and you don't really get to a resolution by prodding on these kinds of things. You talk about what it takes to stop the fighting, not what it took to get into it, not what the actions that were taken during the fighting. But if you want to stop the fighting, you got to talk about where we are and where we need to get to. This simply, I can assure you, Senator, is not helpful to those negotiations that are going on.